So Nile Rodgers, you're hosting the legendary Nordoff Robbins Christmas concert. Tell us a bit about why you got involved and what that means to you.
Um, so the first time I went to Nordoff Robbins, I was just overwhelmed with the feeling of love and just it's just such a wonderful place. And the concept of music therapy was always interesting to me, but I never saw it applied in a sort of tactile manner. And when I went there and was hanging out with everybody, it was just like, just it felt magical. And
Mm.
maybe there's something about my own personality because my parents socialized me to care about people, so it just felt like the right thing to do. Felt sort of like an extension of going to a camp or something. And uh, but also, what happened was I immediately vibed on the fact that many members of my family died of Alzheimer's. And the way that I would connect with them was through singing, especially my aunt, who was in a coma for 5 years. And every time we'd go visit her, we'd sing a bunch of songs, primarily Hey Jude by the Beatles. And, we'd riff on it and stuff like that. And she'd like do the ad libs with us and the whole bit. She'd sing the whole song. She had another favorite song, the day that Billy Joe McAllister jumped off the Tallahatchie Bridge. But she would sing it with us. It was the 3rd of June, another sleepy, dusty Delta day. And she'd get right into it. So we, being sort of semi recalcitrant kids, even though we're adults, but we were having fun with her and we try and trick her and we just had fun. So it made us feel alive because it made her come back to life for us. And and this went on for a good 5 years. Every time I'd visit her, it was almost the same thing. So visiting my aunt was never sad. And then when my mom was stricken with Alzheimer's, I didn't realize that she had already had it for a good 7, 8, 9 years, something really long, because my mom has one of the interesting traits of Alzheimer's. I think they call it acting. My mom is a good actor. So when you talk to her, she is an intellectual. She can carry on a conversation, and it's brilliant and it's respectful and loaded with polysyllabic words. And you think, like, wow, I was just talking to Albert Einstein. Well, as soon as you leave the room, my mom goes, "Who is that woman?" She has no idea. She doesn't have any memory of what just took place, very short term, like she'll ask about you for 5 or 10 minutes and then next thing you know, she's on to a different subject.
Mm.
So at Nordoff Robbins, I started to learn about these techniques and redirecting and being able to get along with people and communicate with people that had Alzheimer's. So it was really my family. And now, because my mom is living in a memory care center, I could relate and have relationships with her friends and her care.
Mm.
So Nordoff Robbins is really sort of close to me. Matter of fact, my one of my businesses, is a main sponsor of this year's um, celebration because I think they're down some 75% this year.
Yeah, that's right. It's a fantastic charity, and I've certainly come across them. I did some work in the music industry, and as you say, their therapists are incredible. They have this ability to just unlock memories for people and find a way to communicate when words have failed. And they're a really wonderful charity, as you say. They don't actually get any government money, and they are down. And you've got an amazing. So I'll tell people when the concert is. It's on Tuesday, the 15th of December, which is my birthday. So I feel like you're putting it on just for me as a little birthday celebration.
We are.
Thanks, Niall. And it's on at 7 o'clock. And I really do urge people to tune in and make a donation because you have got some names.
Yes, we do. Go ahead, dazzle me.
So we've got Rod Stewart, Robbie Williams, Misha Paris. There's going to be readings by Bill Nye, Freddie Fox, Lily James. I mean, it's a real galaxy of stars. So that is going to be an amazing, amazing event. And how is it going to work, Niall, in this kind of socially distanced world that we live in now?
So it's really interesting. So I'm hosting, and I'm doing it from my recording studio's living room. And what's really interesting is my manager said, "You know the vibe. It should be like this." So he sent me the cover of a Nat King Cole album, and we actually we recreated it. It's Nat King Cole sitting in front of a fireplace with presents around his feet and the tree. We did exactly that. I mean, it almost looks the same, except I'm not handsome and cool like Nat.
Oh, come on now,
No,
stop that.
seriously, no. Um, but it's cool. It was great. We had so much fun um, setting it up, and all the decorations are coming in. So we're preparing for it. But the thing is that when we shoot, which will be the day of the show, I have, pardon me, I have no floor manager or anything like that. So I have to like be the director, the talent, and because of COVID, we can't have too many people in my
So you,
space.
so you've got to be a one-man band.
Yeah, oh, and then I got to perform. And so the fact is that I'm performing with different people. I actually do clothing changes, which is hysterical to me. I mean, I never. I feel like Beyonce or something. I don't do clothing changes like Cher or something. I don't do clothing
You
changes.
need a dry ice machine. I hope you've got a dramatic entrance in terms of your and Niall, we're in this very strange world because of COVID, and obviously you're doing the Carol concert, which is normally a huge event, is slightly different. How has lockdown been for you as an artist? How have you got through lockdown with your work and everything?
Well, it's going to sound odd, but I've performed, um, composed, um, and maybe more songs in any 9 month period in my life, because without the distraction of traveling and something people don't typically think of when an artist has to perform a concert. um, well, yeah, we perform the concert, but you know what, we got to get there. We got to get there. We have to stay in a hotel. If it's in a time zone that knocks our body out of whack, sometimes we have to get there 2 days in advance and try and sleep and acclimate to the time zone. So it's very tricky. But in this particular situation, we can call on all of those great artists all over the world now because we'll record them where they are, and then I just now have to be the sort of director and jockey and know when things are coming up, and when do I have time to run and change clothes before. I mean, it's going to be some undertaking, but it'll be a lot of fun. I mean, I love Nordoff Robbins. One of my businesses, as I said, is a big sponsor this year, and I just love what they do for people. I love what they've done for my spirit. Um, you know, bring it on, let's go. And also, it's a very somber Christmas this year, right? So I have to look inside myself and try and figure out a way to recognize that it's not the best of times, but what's my job as a musician and a performer is to try and make people feel the good vibes while recognizing that this year is not the same. It's probably the most unique Christmas we'll ever have.
It is. I mean, it's been an extraordinary time, and of course, there's a bit of good news on the horizon. Hopefully, this vaccine will, change things. And how are you going to be spending Christmas? Will it be a very different affair to how you normally spend Christmas?
Yeah, I'm not the same place you see me performing. It will be the same place I'll be locked down in. I've been locked down for 9 months in the same place.
And have you missed being out touring? Have you missed performing?
Um, well, on a spiritual level, I missed it, but it actually happened at a very propitious time in that I had to have eye surgery, and I had to have surgery on two eyes. And I needed the time to heal, and I wound up having a few major setbacks. So had I been performing, knowing me, I would have done the shows, and you sweat like you can't believe, and the sweat will go into my eyes, and oh God, it would have been a nightmare. And plus, the thing is that we've been on tour with Cher for the last couple of years in the States, and we really love each other. We have the time of our lives. So knowing me, I would have not wanted to let Cher down, and I would have shown
Yeah.
up. And God only knows what would have happened if I did that.
Well, it sounds like it sort of collided with, lots of other things, and you've used your time productively, as you said. I've done nothing but sort of drink wine and eat cheese and watch telly. I think you've been, you are to be applauded for that. And are you looking forward to things getting back to normal, or do you think maybe the industry will change? How it does. Do you think people will adopt new technologies using virtual performing platforms as well as getting back out on the road?
I'm a bad person when it comes to predictions. Um, but I do think that a lot of things are going to change because we've settled into a new normal. And I look at where I live now in New York. So I live in a pretty nice building and a great neighborhood. But before that, I used to have a fabulous office. Well, we got rid of the office because I couldn't send my workers to work. They're working from home just as efficiently as they did at the office. I have a charity that's a very robust charity. Well, we had to have our first, um, it's our biggest initiative. We had to have that, what we call the Just Peace Summit. We had to do it online. And you know what? We had a better outcome emotionally. Um, it was more successful. It's a year-long mentoring program. So what wound up happening is because we didn't have to fly in all these kids from all around the world, but more importantly, we also didn't have to fly in their mentors from all
Yeah.
around the world. So we were able to link a lot of these kids up with people who actually lived in their own country. It was
Wow.
amazing. It was so amazing. So in a way, it was successful, more successful. I would certainly equally as successful, but I think more successful because now, right away, these kids were able to transition back into their communities every single day after they had a day of learning with us. Um, and then they met their mentors. Some of them were able to choose their mentors, and we always love to show them who their mentors are because it's always a big surprise. And these kids are very savvy, and the mentors are, top, like, yeah, I mean, two of our kids have wound up with Bill Gates, and I mean,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and yeah, and Stephen Hawking before he passed away. I mean, it's like really, really a great organization. So these kids have done amazing stuff, and but it was great for them to have mentors that we could choose from who are Nobel Prize winners in their own countries and things
Yeah.
like that. It was
And Niall, final question. You've been such an inspiration to generations of musicians and artists and performers. But there's so many people really struggling out there, particularly new artists, because they can't go out there's no live scene at the moment. They can't go out and gig and perform. What's your advice to those kind of that young talent right now who are really struggling right now in the middle of this pandemic?
They all seem to be on social media doing stuff that's pretty innovative, actually. So I, yeah, I really hate to give advice because I've had a successful career, and if I told people to do what I did, you'd put me in jail. It's like I did things that spoke to my heart and said that you were doing the right thing. But if you wrote it down on paper, it would look like I was a lunatic. I was stark raving mad because I would try out for things that were impossible. I mean, talk about being quixotic. Boy, I was a dreamer, and because I was such a dreamer, um, I couldn't be stopped because I'd always have a new dream, and I would just keep going after, and then boom, once I landed it, my first job was with Sesame Street. You start off with Sesame Street, that's on your resume, right? Where did you work before? Oh, I worked with Sesame Street,
Oh,
and what
I
was
worked with
great
Big
is that
Bird. I worked with Big Bird.
oh, totally work with Big Bird. As a matter of fact, I got a guitar signed right there, right behind me, by Big Bird and Rita and Doctor Hook. Oh no, not Doctor Hook. Doctor, who's Doctor? What was it? Doctor. Oh
I
God.
can't remember who it
Yeah, Doctor. Oh my God. He was like, oh, Doctor Teeth. I can see it. Started with
was.
a capital T. Doctor Teeth. Um, so anyway, so the woman who was the star of Sesame Street at the time actually recommended me for my next job. So I had this great resume, and then she put me in a better job, and then one thing led to the next, and I never really had to look back.
Mm. Well, and thank goodness that you did start off in Sesame Street and you had this amazing career and you have entertained us over the decades. It's been such a privilege to talk to you, Niall. And it's going to be such a great event. So it's the Nordoff Robbins Christmas event. It's their virtual Christmas concert. It's got songs, it's got carols, it's got readings, it's got festive greetings, but most importantly, it's got Nile Rodgers who's hosting it from his living room. And that's going to be on Tuesday, the 15th of December at 7 p.m. If you go to the Nordoff Robbins website, you can tune in and get all the details and make a donation. It's been such a pleasure and good luck with the event, Niall.
Thank you so much.